Malik Willis is a Miami Dolphin. What the hell happened, Monti Ossenfort and the Arizona Cardinals? What could be their plan B potentially? It's a PHNX Cardinals emergency podcast. It starts now. Emotions already running high, just an hour into the tampering window. NFL free agent frenzy underway. Bo Brock, Espo, Greg Esposito joins us here in emergency podcast form. Thank you to everybody out there for joining us live. And we're going to kick things off with some positive news. Our guy Ranger, the GOAT, jumping in with a $200 super chat. I didn't stutter there. $200 from the GOAT Ranger, unbelievably generous, trying to keep us even keel, trying to keep us positive.
Just pay us cash.
That's right.
All right.
He's bribing us. If I gave you money for my wallet, would you be happy? Well, yes, a little bit, Ranger. So when I said I was not sure free agents would want to come here, Johnny Venerable said money talks. Well, guess that happened. Noah, we don't have it. There it is. Poor attempt, but Espo, he got it, and you got us here live and breaking down the news that Malik Willis is now a Miami Dolphin, something that I thought was people on their Chili's, Cracker Barrel style, connect the dots, just a placemat. It was just, hey, there's the GM there, there's the former DC, he'd go to Miami, and then you look at the logic, and it's like not a whole lot of cap space. Dolphins made some moves this morning. They went into their couch cushions and found some cap money and somehow paid $45 million guaranteed to Malik Willis. Let's look at the total financials here. Diana Rossini, among other insiders, with it. The complete deal for Malik Willis. 3 years, $67.5 million. That includes $45 million guaranteed to bring Malik Willis from Cheeseville down to South Beach to be their starting quarterback. And it's, as far as Willis goes, kind of the Fresh Prince series finale where he's in a room alone. No playmakers down there. But apparently it's good enough for him, and it's better than whatever the Arizona Cardinals either offer or didn't offer.
What was that pitch like? Hey, we don't have that much cap space. We don't have any players. We've
Right.
cut all of them. But you can come here and make it happen. Like this comes down to two things for me. Either Matt LaFleur called up Mike and was like, this guy doesn't have it.
Right.
Don't do this. Or Monti got cold feet and just wasn't willing to offer the money that it was going to take to bring Malik Willis in. Now, everybody knows that Malik has his flaws, that there were questions about could he be a starter. But in reality, you look out there at this market, and are you really comfortable with Jacoby Brissett being your quarterback? Are you really comfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins? You've now had the best option and the best potential at quarterback off the board, and now what you do?
Right. You're looking for a fresh direction as you were with the coaching search, and you wanted to continue that, parlay that as far as free agency. You release unceremoniously your franchise quarterback, and you're going to eat a bunch of money. But did you find somebody as his successor that's going to maybe get the fan base juiced? Malik Willis provided that option. I know it's not without risk. Everybody understands the risk for Malik Willis, but it seems like maybe it was because Big Brother Matt said, you don't want to spend that much. Malik Willis is a starting quarterback in my eyes, but is he worth that much? And they said, here's what you should be willing to spend, and it went too far? We don't know, or was it the years? Because if you look at the years, it's a 3-year deal, and I'm sure it's probably more of like a 2-year deal, but Miami was able to do it, and the Arizona Cardinals spent the last 7 days opening up cap space. You would think for maybe a quarterback. They don't get the quarterback. We'll start to look at plan B here, but so many factors going into this, but mostly outrage. Fan base is like, what's going on with this team? Why do they continue to be risk averse with this general manager? Why are they unwilling to spend at, of course, positions of need? But people look at it, there's a couple camps here with Malik Willis. We don't know. There's not enough tape there. Kurt Warner pointing out, staggering number, 28 dropbacks in his career that you could kind of look back as far as a passer. But still, traits, projectability, best ability to maybe find lightning in a bottle. It was Malik Willis.
Well, yeah, I don't understand what they're doing here and what Monty's doing. I don't know. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if Monty's stupid and he's believing if Mike's telling him, you're safe, so play this however you want. And if you want to try to get a quarterback in next year's draft, it's all right if we have another rough season.
Right.
Like, you're not putting Mike LaFleur in a position to succeed if you do not give him a quarterback that's capable of succeeding at the NFL level. And I get it that Malik had his flaws, but if you're taking what essentially is a one-year flyer on a guy and giving a lot of upfront money to it, who the hell cares? You've got the cap space. You've got the ability. Why not take a swing? Monti Ossenfort is the most buttoned up, I don't want to try anything kind of guy. He's the missionary position of GMs, and I don't want that. I want a guy that's willing to take a chance to give me winning football, because we have not seen enough of it in this valley. And I get it. Malik may not have been that guy, but now you can't tell me. Jimmy Garoppolo definitely isn't that guy. Jacoby Brissett isn't that guy. The corpse of Kirk Cousins isn't that guy. So who are you going to go with now? I mean, you're going to go get Bajan? There's less film on him than there was on Malik Willis. So why do we believe that there's any opportunity here to get better at the quarterback position? And don't try to sell me on Ty Simpson coming in and saving the day. That ain't happening either.
An all-time rant, but my eyes, my mind wandering when you said Monty's the missionary of GMs, the missionary position of GMs. I can't go back from that. I don't know, what it's going to say for me long-term. Could have some ramifications in other areas of my life. But as it stands right now, I mean, look, Monti Ossenfort, he's the Ford Expedition of general managers. It's just a nice, sturdy car. It's going to get me to A and B, but am I going to be able to take that, get after it and save my job? That's what people are clamoring for. Show some urgency. Do what it's going to take to save your job. The coach that you handpicked to be your guy, you had to fire on Black Monday. He's gone. He left. It ended at 15-36 for Jonathan Gannon, but the 15-36 continues to linger on as a stench that's going to surround Monti Ossenfort. And I don't care what Michael Bidwell, if he gave you, hopefully it wasn't the Godfather treatment, if he gave you any type of assurance, don't trust it. You have to go out there and field a team that's going to show some sort of competitiveness and is going to turn the arrow from trending absolutely down to back trending up to where it was 23, 24, going into 25 before a disastrous season. Right now, as far as the quarterback market, it was slim. It's even slimmer now as far as the pickings for your potential quarterback post Kyler Murray. People are looking at it as coping post Malik Willis. It's not even really that. It signifies a larger problem, I think, for this fan base that they see out there, the unwillingness to go out there and take a shot. And that's where we stand right now. So when you try to pivot now and you look at the money, you look at the years, and you say, yeah, that is kind of wild for Malik Willis, but the team was in a position to do it. Why didn't they? And how were they undercut by a team that it continues to prove, is the NFL cap a myth? I don't know, but still, even if it is, you got $60 million in the bank, presumably, with the two moves you made yesterday with the restructures or reworking of the deals of Sean Murphy-Bunting and James Conner. I mean, you should be upwards of 60 mil. We'll see. I mean, he better pull a rabbit out of his hat at this point, and the chances of that are very low.
This is like an offensive lineman scoring a touchdown on you off a pass this year. How do you get beat by a team that had, $3 million in cap space?
Right.
You're sitting there in a Scrooge McDuck type vault with all that money. I mean, I don't understand it. And I'm sorry, he's not a Ford Explorer unless that is a Ford Explorer with a problem that if it got hit from the back, it'd explode. Like Monti Ossenfort is not some kind of quality. He's got 15 wins in 3 years years as a GM. If I'm sitting here, if it is some Michael Bidwell, you're okay. It's Michael Corleone telling Fredo he's okay. You're going to wind up sleeping with the fishes after a year if you have another terrible season here. There better be a plan. And the fact that we've heard nothing, there's been no signs outside of the smoke around Malik Willis in Arizona. Okay, Monty, you got to go prove yourself now, because right now I would be packing up my desk if I were him, because I just lost to the Dolphins on a guy that was the only quality quarterback on the market right now. Right. Again, you better pull something impressive out, because if it's Kirk Cousins, if it's Jimmy G, I'm sorry, but I'm really questioning if you are even capable of coming up with a plan to put a competitive football team on the field.
Well, at least with the latter, and I know you're just kind of going through a couple like options. Like Kirk Cousins at least was on a team that was able to win football games at the end of the season. Like the last time we saw Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter, it was a failure in Vegas. And that was a couple of years ago. Like the Cardinals are staring down the potential of having the 2016 Patriots quarterback room with Tom Brady suspended. That's what they're looking at. Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo in the year 2026 of our football lords. That's not acceptable to try to pawn off to a franchise after on Black Monday, the owner and the GM sat up there and said they are serious about winning. Because that doesn't show that to you. That doesn't point in that direction. Now, you did it with Mike LaFleur. You found probably the best coach that was willing to come in and take the job for the Cardinals. And now the quarterback position, you can't have this fall by the wayside. Like you've done some decent work in earning the trust back from the fan base, but you're not on solid footing by any means. Like you're on thin ice as far as it goes. So you got to figure this out. What can Monti Ossenfort do? Like I am terrified until I see the report from one of the insiders, a Garofalo, a Rap Sheet, a Schefter, until Jimmy G re-signs with the Rams as a backup quarterback.
Yeah, look, you hired what essentially is the Lewis Hamilton of coaches, a guy that is a high-performance driver when it comes to offense, and now you're going to put him in a Toyota Corolla? Like, you're not giving him a quarterback, and we all know, I mean, we've suffered through it enough in Arizona since 1988 to understand how important the quarterback position is. You're not going anywhere unless you have a guy that can actually run the offense that you want, and I'm not sure that you're going to be able to find that at this point. And if you were going to simply lose this season, just keep Jonathan Gannon. Why go through the dog and pony show bringing somebody else in? Let him and Monty be the fall guys. Right. We're just going to tank to try to find a quarterback. And maybe that's not what they're trying to do, but when you're sitting here less than a little over an hour into the tampering period, and you see the one guy that everybody had circled to you at quarterback going somewhere that didn't have the money you thought to make it happen, it's frustrating.
Yeah, over 750, close to 800 people watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Get us in front of more Cardinals fans. This is the best Cardinals community out there. We want to talk to as many people, get them involved, and talk about this team, good or bad. In this situation, feels like it's really bad. We're going to get to your super chats. Johnny Venerable is he's okay. I know you guys want a wellness check on our guy Johnny. He'll be, of course, live with us at 4:30.
He's in a corner somewhere.
He's in the fetal position, I believe. I believe he might be in the fetal position in the corner of his shower. But let's get to some of these super chats actually right now. Big thank you once again to Ranger, $200. That's unbelievable. How about Booms? Jay Booms, Monty isn't paying big money for someone Mike doesn't see as a long-term QB. Mike has said in this, Monty doesn't deserve the hate he's getting right now. I mean, look, when you just look at the quarterback market and you look at the available options, and there might have been some deal breakers there as far as this Malik Willis contract went, but the Monti Ossenfort needed to show some sort of sense of urgency with this position, especially with Kyler Murray. And I'm not going to put all the Kyler Murray blame on Monty's shoulders. He didn't sign Kyler to that contract. But at the same time, you have to understand the levity of the gravity of releasing him and eating $55 million in dead cap and then not having really a viable, hope-infusing quarterback in the wings. And I think that Malik Willis at the very least showed like promise of that. But look, Monti Ossenfort now has to pivot and show something as far as direction at the position post Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins. So look, is it overblown? Is him like saying he's a terrible general manager right out of the gates and coming out hot like we did? Is it overblown? I think to an extent, but at the same time, like, what's the move? What's he going to do with this? Because people, they want you to know they're not going to accept a quarterback room of Jimmy G and Jacoby Brissett.
Well, I mean, in reputation, it's not
Right.
like Monty
There's a track record.
has a quality track record. Now, it very well could be that Mike didn't want Malik, and okay, if that's the case. But to your point, releasing Kyler being part of what led to the fracturing of the relationship to make it irreparable is on Monty and at his feet. But if Mike's sitting there telling Monty, Jimmy G's my guy, we can win with that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I think then you're making the same mistakes that you had like on the defensive side with your defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I can win with that. I can take these under-the-radar guys, these signings. You can give me Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones, and I'm going to make it work with the defensive line. And that wasn't the case. You couldn't do that. It's like, hey, we'll bring in Kazir White, and that'll be your linebacker splash. But then after that, you let him walk, and you go out and get Akeem Davis-Gaither, and it wasn't the same. It didn't get the job done. They couldn't elevate that, and you can't make the same mistakes. Like, there can be a certain amount of trust with LaFleur and Jimmy G, but it can't be from the standpoint of starting quarterback and trying to get a fan base back on board. It's like what you did to help keep season tickets from hemorrhaging that on January 5th, on Black Monday. It's like you might have kicked the can down the road, but you're probably going to do the same move here in March if you don't find a solution at quarterback that people will accept and say, hey, I want to go watch that each Sunday at every other Sunday at State Farm Stadium. How about the red-bearded Red? We've got, honestly, I now regret giving this team my money for the 20th season tickets. No one wants to play for bum-ass Bidwell.
I'm the first one to throw things at Mike's feet and say this is on you. I don't know. I mean, do you really think Michael Bidwell was like, you can't spend money on a quarterback?
No,
I doubt that was.
I think there's full roster autonomy with Monti Ossenfort. I really do. I think that's where Michael Bidwell isn't the one that's tightening up the purse strings as far as the spending. Do we have an update there? We have an update from Connor Hughes, who seems to be pretty locked in as far as this search goes. Is that up on the screen? Connor Hughes, the Cardinals had interest here. The price was simply too rich for them. I'd expect the Arizona Cardinals to try to lure Jimmy Garoppolo from the Rams. The Dolphins, by the way, were an option for Geno Smith, as mentioned earlier. Willis, Miami increases the odds that the Jets can land their former quarterback.
$45 million guaranteed was too rich for them. Say it was 30 this year, 15 next year. The third year was completely, you could walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really that much for a quarterback in the NFL that's going to start for you this year? $30 million.
Well, you got to think about the $55 million that you're investing in. I mean, that's an $85 million investment in the quarterback position.
I get
plus
that,
Jacoby.
But you can't. I don't think you can count the Kyler. You got to accept that as a sunk cost.
Sure.
You lost that years ago when you decided to sign that contract. So now you're going to go cheap just because you have that dead money. That seems extremely short-sighted and setting up a guy like Mike LaFleur for not a lot of success in year one.
Yeah. Keeping it going, how about Tom, our friend from across the pond? Always been a Monty fan. Hard to support him. Every free agency, we look totally unprepared. Hasn't drafted a Pro Bowler, free agent bust, and now missed this as far as Malik Willis. That's the perception. Fair or not, that's the perception. Like every free agency, sure you get a win with Josh Sweat, but did you miss out on Milton Williams? The previous free agency was just an unmitigated disaster as far as the defensive line, just the entire class outside of Mack Wilson. So it's really Monti Ossenfort. There's some interesting offensive line guys out there that are still available. Not any of the top guys have gone off the board. That's a consolation prize. Fan base is worried about who's going to be playing quarterback next year. And the top guy right now, as far as earning potential, Malik Willis, he's off the board. You're going to see a bunch of bargain bin guys, all these quarterbacks that were paid to go away. Two of most recent this morning, Kyler, obviously high profile last week, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. So we'll see what happens with those. How about Tim P? Not too upset over Willis to Dolphins signing. It's like JV and Bo have said repeatedly, Matt LaFleur knows Willis better than anyone. What if that's why we didn't sign him to the deal? Hashtag trust in MILF.
I would assume that will come out if that's the case.
Sure.
That will be the reason. I do not like hearing it was too expensive for them, because that does, regardless of if it's the truth, it brings you back to same old Cardinals. Not willing to spend money, which is not a place that you want to be in. I really hope that it comes down to Matt and Mike talking and not feeling Malik Willis was the guy for this job. But everything we heard prior to this didn't make it sound like that was going to be
sure. Yeah, I mean, like there was reports, rap sheet as early as this morning saying that they were in, and it's like the cost for Malik Willis. This is where it's puzzling to me. Like, if you were in on Malik Willis, wouldn't you just be in until you got the job done? Apparently not. But it was there some more insider trading from the floors between Matt and Mike and saying, this is the price I would pay Malik Willis. I wouldn't go above that. But then, like, where does that leave you? That's the biggest issue. It's
Jimmy G, and you better sign all the offensive linemen you can so Jimmy G doesn't die back there as your starter.
Keeping it going with the super chats. How about Short Stack Goblin? Johnny was so condescending to everyone too. LOL. As far as Willis and the getting the job done, he was fearful the entire time. There wasn't any time at point that Johnny was confident that this was going to get done. As to see Malik Willis, happy Malik Willis joining the Pat McAfee show right now, signing with the Dolphins. Keeping it going, Steve Keim School of Drinking. Welcome to the Austin Fort Bidwell shit show tankathon for Run for a Cure. That's what it shows a lot of signs of, and you feel for the players in that locker room. You feel for Trey McBride, who locked in last offseason for, at the time, the richest tight end contract. You feel for the Paris Johnson Jr.'s, who was the first draft pick of this regime, the Marvin Harrisons, the guys that have come into this organization, Budda Baker, who trusted these guys that they were going to get back on the right path. And 3 years later, now into the fourth offseason, there aren't a whole lot of signs that say, hey, we're willing to continue to push this envelope and do what it takes to get this team in the right direction. It's just a slower burn for everybody. And I don't know if it needs to be this like meticulous, this slow as far as getting back into relevancy.
Have they even lit the fuse yet? I don't see any burn. I just see it slow.
Yeah, they need to go find a new lighter or maybe some matches to get that thing going. Nikki, it is a worse feeling to actively plan to tank or to tank on accident because your GM is incompetent. And that's like, is this the plan, or was it a missed opportunity? Did they miss out? And you know, it is tough to differentiate between which is worse. Like, no. 2026 is not the year. 27's the year. We're going to get in on this quarterback class, but it's just like, it's another year of futility for Cardinals fans to have to suffer through. I mean, they've had one playoff since 2015. One playoff. We've reached now past a decade as far as the last time this team was in the playoffs. 2015, they went 13-3, NFC Championship game in 2016 of January. And then they've been out. They've been really out of it since that 11-6 year.
I think incompetent is worse, because at least if you're losing on purpose, that means you have a plan. If you're incompetent and you have no plan, there's nowhere to get.
Yeah.
You just stay where you are.
Keeping it going, looking for any signs of life from the Arizona Cardinals during tampering periods.
I'll read this one so you can keep looking. Larry Mannix says, I heard there's a QB that can be signed for the vet minimum named Kyler Murray. What is Monti doing? He can't afford to tank. Does he want to lose his job? I think it's a good question. I doubt nobody wants to lose their job, but honestly, I'm not sure he's fighting real hard to keep it right now at the moment, unless we see, again, some plan that surprises us all. I don't know. I mean, could you be looking at a Derek Carr? Could there be some kind of move there, and you just
Yeah.
feel Derek has enough left in the tank after recovering from that injury to potentially surprise people? I don't know. I really don't at this point.
I would be way more in the camp of a Cousins Carr than a Garoppolo.
Same.
I think both recently have shown the ability to start football games and play the position with the correct infrastructure. Now, I mean, everybody, all options now, even Malik Willis needed to be a product of, the infrastructure to elevate the quarterback instead of the reverse. But yeah, I mean, give me Cousins at least went on a 4-game heater with all that help down in Atlanta. I mean, at the very least, could you try to have a poor man's blueprint of that? How about Jack? Fans deserve better.
They have for years
Yeah.
here, and they continue to.
Indigenous Daddy, hit that like button. Appreciate this from Indigenous Daddy. Mitch Trubisky was available. Would have been a solid option. MF coaching him up would have had some good weapons. I'm not so much in the Mitch Trubisky camp. Like, we've seen Mitch in a couple spots with the Bills, and we saw him firsthand against the Cardinals as the Steelers guy. He's not a good quarterback. If he's your backup, fine. But you're gonna the Cardinals. I think they have one of the best backups in the league in Jacoby Brissett. You start to talk about starting. I think that razor edge, line that differentiates starters and backups. Jacoby's just short of that. And then there's like a firm like backup tier, and you got Mitch Trubisky. You've got Jimmy G in that tier.
I mean, hell, if you can have 2 great backups, why not do it?
You got 2 great backups. You don't have 1 starter. You could have 3, 4 backups. You could have 53 backups.
I mean, you got 1 here today, so.
Never a pleasure. That's the name. That's not the.
I mean, no, that's the same here.
Right, that's not my response to what you just said. How about, I didn't mean to join the Discord show. I heard Bo in my AirPods saying I requested John and then started panicking. Oh, damn, dude. Yeah, we were having some fun in the exclusive member Discord today. You can join that because I'm going to be back in there after we're done with all the live. Southwest Bias is up next at 11 too. I mean, we're wall-to-wall coverage. If we're not live here on the YouTube streets, we're going to be live in the member Discord. You can become a diehard at gophnx.com. Let's keep it going. Ranger adding to his tab. Total tally now 205. I always thought best bet was to get an old vet like Carr through
through next
year's draft. Look, you can get me on board with Carr. I know that's going to come with a ton of frustration, like on like game day.
Yeah,
but it would at least say like, hey, if a healthy Derek Carr, we've seen a 30 touchdown performance. We know that he can operate an offense. I'd love to see it with like Michael Floor, or like to see it. Love is strong.
But I mean, you've also seen in the Valley where you get a guy that's had some previous success on the back end of his career, and he finds it again with an offensive coach here in the Valley. When you saw it with Kurt, you saw it with Carson Palmer. You can at least sell me on that, especially if you draft a guy like a Ty Simpson. You have a younger guy that you hope could be the future. That's at least sellable to me. If it's Jimmy G and Jacoby Brissett, I don't know what you're trying to sell me, but I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, 900 people live. Hit that like button, and if you've got other Cardinals fans out there, tell them to join in. We're having a fun. Well, no, we're not. Yeah. We're live. We're talking. There's a little therapeutic session here for Cardinals fans. Is did they miss out on Malik Willis? It's a polarizing subject. I mean, because the fan base was divided anyway on Malik Willis, like saying you couldn't spend that much, and then there was the camp out there saying this is your only hope. So like there is a faction of the fan base, and we've already heard from them saying like this is a blessing in disguise, especially when you look at the numbers. 3 years, $67.5 million and 45 guaranteed. Like, I understand the risk there, and you're stretching it beyond, I think, where it's past your comfort zone.
Yeah, 100%. I understand the flaws that Malik Willis had, but at some point, are those flaws worse than what we know Jimmy G is? I will always lean on the side of signing for potential rather than accepting, average.
Right.
And that's what you're doing.
And as far as this draft class goes, I mean, you're kind of approaching a guy like Malik is, 26 years old, coming off of his rookie quarterback contract. Like, is he kind of like a draft pick? You're getting a high quality draft pick, just a little bit more expensive for sure. Keeping it going here, as the Cardinals therapy session continues. Descent. I really don't get how you could have any faith in long-term plan. They have failed for years on their own. Like any other tank would fix anything. Yeah, and that's the skepticism that I think people that harsh reality is setting in. It's like we thought we were on the precipice of getting out of this at the end from 24 to 25. It went catastrophically wrong, and now we're a couple steps back. And it's just like, is it the reset button again?
Well, yeah. Can you trust him to find the next quarterback of this franchise? Do you really have the faith that Monti Ossenfort and his ability to judge talent can actually bring that in? I think that kind of puts a cloud over everything. And the question of, okay, why was JG the fall guy, and why does Monty get the second chance here? And I think a lot of people are going to continue to ask that as we go through this offseason.
Keeping it going here, Trinity, going two Bobs from Office Space. What does Monti Ossenfort even do? What would you say you even do here?
Shave my head. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's got to jump to conclusions, Matt, and that's how he makes his decisions on everything.
That is literally the worst idea I've ever heard. Trinity, thank you for that super chat. But he's going to have to show his worth here, and it's going to have to like really kind of fortify the offensive trenches here with all that money he's apparently saving on the quarterback position. Brian P., why tank? Just because QB is taken in the top 10 doesn't mean they're going to pan out. Can't believe we're going to waste McBride's prime. That's a big fear. It's a big fear. Like all these guys that you got on these rookie deals, and then you lock in Trey McBride, like that's all going to go for naught. Like if you don't really kind of put them in a position to get players that impact spots, like the quarterback position. The reality that Monti Ossenfort is living in right now, the 15-36, but there's an even more damning stat under Monti Ossenfort's tenure. He has 2 wins with quarterbacks not named Kyler Murray in the lineup. You have to find a starting caliber quarterback to win football games with the roster you've put in place. As it's been proven, there's not just a sample size there. There's 3 years of data that prove you only have 2 wins with a quarterback not named Kyler Murray or a starting caliber quarterback. You can't pawn off Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, quintessential backups in the year 2026 of our football lords as a starting option.
No, and you're lying to yourself if you're trying to do that. And you talk about top 10 picks in this franchise history in Arizona. They've done it 3 times. Matt Leinart, Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray. There is no guarantee that tanking would fix this in any way.
Yeah. I mean, think about the quarterback class. I mean, Arch, he came along at the end there, and I'm not going to deny it. I think Arch Manning put himself back into the conversation as QB1 next draft. But then you have to think about who's next. Dante Moore, there was some reservations there as how he played in the college football playoff. He's going to have to show a big jump. Like all these quarterbacks going back into the college ranks and getting the bag from NIL and hitting the portal and all these things, they have to prove that they show transferable projections as far as, their skill sets and their ability to operate offenses. Like Sam Levitt, Lenora Sellers, all these guys have to show that they can play at the next level. You guys are crushing it with super chats. We're going to continue to go through here. Noah does his, he rolls down the screen and shows me how many people have super chatted. And we need to get into that before we go live at the top of the hour for Southwest Bias with our guy Espo. Legend Morris, how about never been less happy to be a Cardinals fan? Thanks, guys, for what you do. Well, we appreciate that, but that's we appreciate the love, but we also feel for you, and are living that reality.
But we'll do it together.
Yeah, we
We'll
will.
suffer together.
We will. LeBron, really appreciate that. That is about as kind as you can be in this day and age as a Cardinals fan. Can we take a swing at Anthony Richardson?
Does that really change any? Sure. I mean, it's another guy with potential and all sorts of flaws and all sorts of questions, and questions about how much does he actually care about football, which is one of those questions you really don't want from your quarterback position.
With Kyler exiting, and that's obviously it's either going to be via release and very unlikely, a trade. Like, he's going to be off this roster come Wednesday. That leaves your quarterback room, Jacoby Brissett and Keaton Slovis. So if you're asking me, would I prefer Richardson over Slovis? Absolutely. But it doesn't inspire any kind of confidence. Like, Anthony Richardson is a far cry from being where he needs to be an NFL quarterback. Like, he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's got the arm strength. But I mean, this is a guy that had a completion percentage under 50% in this league. This is a guy that took his team down in the red zone and tapped out. It's like an NBA game where the guy's tapping his head and say, I need out of the ballgame at the quarterback position in the red zone. It's just, he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, forget a video game clause. It's a check yourself out clause. You lose money if you do that in the NFL. Anthony Richardson does not pique my interest. I'll just say
right.
that.
We've got big moves so far in the league. How about Tyler Lindenbaum, the prized free agent center from the Ravens? He's signing with the Raiders. He's going to Vegas. So Fernando Mendoza going to get a nice little center to start his career with there in Vegas. So good for them. Good for them. All these teams pulling off these moves. Actually, I'm not happy for you.
The Raiders now a more respectable franchise than the Cardinals.
Not even close right now with that #1 pick and now a really strong center. Well, I mean, the Cardinals have a really good center in Yellow Froholt, but it's just I don't want nice things for everybody else right now as we're going through it. Joe, fire Monty Austinfart. Keim was better and he sucked.
To be fair, at least he'd find some free agent gold.
Yeah,
that's at least something that Keim would do for sure.
The only problem with Keim was like the old we're never rebuilding. It's like, yeah,
and the drinking.
You should have. The
alleged drinking. Yeah, sorry,
Brian
alleged.
P. I don't want to get us. I want to keep doing this. How about Brian P. LaFleur should give his resignation. Monty sucks.
Could you imagine that? Yeah. Oh my God, that's like the one thing we haven't seen with this organization.
It's just I'm gonna head back to L.A. I thought we were gonna try here.
Oops. Hey Matt, you need anybody on your staff up there in Green Bay? I'm available.
How about Reese jumping in? Fire Monty, can't sign free agents to save his life. Tired of losing. The fan base is as long as Monty is the team's GM. We will be losers.
I'm starting to believe that might be the case.
Show me reason to be hopeful. Short Stack Goblin, crazy people are crying we didn't spend $45 million on a guy who played 4 games, got hurt, and never threw more than 23 times in games. Boo-hoo!
Okay. Short Stack Goblin, what's your answer, quarterback? I'm genuinely asking that. What is your answer if you didn't think that was the play?
Keeping it going. Tyler Allgeier to Arizona.
Oh, so you've got running backs. That's something tonight. James Conner back, Tyler Allgeier here, Trey Benson here. So Johnny, his hope for Love has been dashed. Love is now not an option in Arizona, just like fans have no Love lost when it comes to Monti Austinfort. Why the running back position being the point of emphasis right now?
Noah Espo, I can't think of a more disastrous start to the tampering period than what we've witnessed. Just based on where the fan base's hopes and expectations were and where they were kind of hitching their wagon to this offseason, it was Malik Willis, it was Jeremiah Love at the running back position. Whether or not that was just a fever dream, pipe dream, whatever you want to call it, it is dead 90 minutes into this thing.
Yep.
Officially put the final nail in the coffin for both Malik Willis and Jeremiah Love. It's unbelievable.
No juice.
No juice.
No juice. Negative juice boxes right now when it comes to the start to the tampering period for the Cardinals. You got your running back room figured out. In today's NFL, that's the most important thing, right?
Tyler Allgeier puts the Arizona Cardinals officially on the board during the tampering period. It's a 2-year, $12 million deal reported by our guy, Mike Garafolo. $12.25 million. So you restructure James and you probably reallocate that money to Allgeier's first year here in the desert. Your running back room, you got some thump. I mean, there's some bruiser guys.
So is Kirk Cousins the guy handing the ball off to him again? I don't know. Are we going, you know what? Really liked it. Yeah. Not the coach. We were going to get Raheem Morris, but we'll get all the guys that he had there.
So many people, I'm sure, think I'm going to spike the football here. So many people the lovers out there, the Jeremiah lovers. I don't know what your group is. I don't know what your fanboy group was.
We could have the MILFs and the lovers.
I take no pride in this. I literally take no pride in this because this is an entertainment-based business, and I want fun for the fans out there, especially if you're going to have to endure more losing. But to try to pawn this off, man, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't. Nobody was going to be happy regardless of who was the first signing if it wasn't a quarterback or the first move. I mean, if you traded for one as well, this is going to continue to look bad until you know who's going to be under center or in shotgun for this team.
Maybe they'll just wildcat it. Maybe they'll just be those teams from the Dolphins back in the day with Chad Pennington. He just had a noodle arm, and they'd put Ricky Williams and Cadillac Williams in the shotgun. I'm sorry, Ronnie Brown, not Cadillac Williams. So 1,000-yard rushing season under his belt. That was back in 2022, his first year, Allgeier. Since then, he's been good for over 500 yards a year, 683, 644, and 514 most recently. He's had 2 seasons under 4 yards per carry. Tyler Allgeier does nothing for me.
He's described as a big physical runner. I mean, isn't that what you had in James?
Yeah.
You're not even getting some counter to James Conner in that backfield. And Jordan Schultz says this is a guy Mike LaFleur covered it in a major way. So okay, you're getting Mike a piece that he thinks fits, but so many other question marks for a guy that hasn't crossed that 1,000-yard mark in years, like you said.
Yeah. It's so you've got James and Trey, both who didn't play a lot last year. Obviously, James 3 games, Benson 4 games. Not a whole lot of production in the short sample size, and then Allgeier, who was playing a small second fiddle to Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. You can tell me that LaFleur coveted him. If that's the caliber of player we're going to have to get used to bringing in, you're not going to get excitement. You're just not going to get excitement.
No. That's again, you don't build an offense around running backs in today's NFL.
So. Keeping it going with our guy Steven Jackson, great running back in his own day. Malik was our last chance for some juice. Now who? Like we said, could you flip a pick for Bagent? That pressure on. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr would take late day 3 pick to get him from the Saints. We'll see. Nothing's happened as far as the Jets. The Jets were tied to Geno, but they wanted maybe a pair of vets.
Run it back.
Right.
Geno.
Right. I think maybe the quarterback position, they might just get another running back. How about Cards Matrix? Does this mean we could possibly trade for Derek Carr? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the Cards and the Jets are options for Derek Carr. Derek Carr on his podcast, which is his low budget New Heights with the Kelsey brothers. It's him and David Carr. He was very complimentary of the Cardinals playmakers. It's just there's questions about Derek Carr in general, just the quarterback when he was at 100% health. And then there's questions about Derek Carr's shoulder. Does he have the arm strength? But if his arm strength's there and he's got the want to come back, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
No, the thing is, anybody you sign or trade for at this point is going to have major question marks. There's no, I mean, even Malik Willis was that case. There's no perfect quarterback.
How about David Shell? Says, I'm literally pissed and sick to my stomach with this team. Missed out on a good quarterback. Now settle with a retread quarterback. Sad may miss going to a game next season. Thanks, Monty. Give the public info. Why, sir?
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear whatever the lipstick they put on the pig when they come to the press conference at the end of the week and introduce whoever the new quarterback is, and explain all the moves. I'm going to be very fascinated how they spin all this and what the explanation is, and then what comes out from the reporting.
Yeah. Do you need to get to Southwest Bias?
We'll let this run a little while.
Okay.
We can we'll figure it out.
All right.
We're just improvisational.
That's right. Yes, and to 90s Poppy, Monty got me looking foolish as F, telling Dolphins fans on Twitter they weren't getting Malik. If he doesn't pull off something big out of this season, boys, I'm out for this season, boy. The Dolphins fans, I'm curious how they're receiving this, because you look at the deal and you grit your teeth and you're saying, that is a lot for Malik Willis. But here's the big issue that Monty Ossenfort and maybe Michael LaFleur, and because of Michael LaFleur, Matt LaFleur have to deal with. What if Malik Willis is good? What if Malik Willis goes and, with very little playmaking, bad offensive line in Miami, and plays really well? Then you got extra schmutz on your face.
I mean, definitely if you are floundering because of whoever you wind up choosing there, I mean, that's going to be the case. You talked about Cardinals not wanting to have like $80 million invested in the quarterback position, assuming that it's like $30 million in guarantees this year for the Dolphins. It's like $120 million that they have dedicated to the quarterback position when you think about the dead money from Tua. Like, okay.
Was it $67 million in dead? And then,
I mean,
total, it's an absurd chunk of change for the Dolphins. And they had an egregious trade with the Jets this morning. 7th round pick, gave a good safety to him, just in a salary dump. Trevor, should have known when I think this team will do something good, they do the complete opposite. Guaranteed top 3 next year. Just sign Johnny at quarterback.
He's a running back.
He would do the Colt McCoy point. He's like, I'm going to pass to this guy because I don't think he can get it over the line of scrimmage. Panda with wings, ready for a new GM. Look, if they get a top 3 pick again next year, that's what you're going to see. You can say, hey, like, nail everything to the ground for, the 2026 season. We're prepared to lose until those losses pile up and fan base checks out and they sell their tickets or they don't buy the tickets. Heads have to roll for those types of seasons. They did this previous year, and they're going to continue to do so without signs of progression. And, it's Monty Ossenfort, not long for the world if the Cardinals GM world, if that happens. Libertarian Sasquatch. Clearly, Matt didn't co-sign a Malik for $45 million. Probably true.
Yeah, I would assume that that's part of this equation. But again, going to be fascinating as this whole thing unravels. Like, the only report we've heard is didn't want to pay that much. Okay, well, why? What was the reasoning? I'm sure Matt probably was part of that.
Another running back on the move, Travis Etienne to the Saints.
Dear God, I thought you meant to Arizona.
The other Michael Carter staying with the Eagles. Reese, great plan to get fans to buy tickets. Jimmy G jerseys will fly off the shelves, Monty. It's now Ty Simpson or bust. Do your job, Monty. That's the thing. Like, I'm not on board like Ty Simpson. Like, I think, even though I've seen this organization take a quarterback in the first round or with a high pick, maybe he's the second pick in the second round, Ty Simpson, and then pivot to another quarterback. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't deem Ty Simpson as ready to contribute at the NFL level. So what's he going to do for you next year when you want to be in the 2027 quarterback class?
Yeah, do you though? Like, is that the plan? Are we really sitting here and the hope is everything's on that 2027 quarterback class? I mean, is that it appears that's where we are. So then you're just saying, okay, we're not even going to really take a flyer on a guy this year, and you're just going to suffer through whatever quarterback play. Again, that seems like a great way for Monty Ossenfort to not have a job next year.
That's where you just build the rest of the roster. Why take a flyer on Ty Simpson if you want to be right back in that quarterback class the next season? How about, Jack, throw everything at Rodgers now?
I do not need ayahuasca Aaron under center here. He's my age. Right. He's 40 freaking 2. I don't need that as my quarterback this year. No, thank you. Let Pittsburgh deal with that.
Keeping it going. Rangers back. Total tally at 210. Unbelievably generous. Don't worry, chat. Unlike the Cards, I will always spend money on you. Your best fans around. You deserve better. There you go. The hero we deserve.
Ranger, do you want to buy an NFL team? Can we help you accomplish that? Because I'd like to see that kind of money being spent in terms of free agents.
Let's get him here at PHNX.
Sure.
CEO, maybe?
Sure. Ranger, let's just call me. We'll figure out something.
That's right. Football King, Johnny Venerable, full of L's. From Willis to Love to Mocking Loveland, Shuck, Schlesinger, Campbell picks from last year, saying the vision will suck. Horrible. Man, kept some receipts there.
Hang the banner, Johnny with the big L.
Johnny Venerable has been really right on a lot of other things that people in this market haven't been on. So as many L's as you take, he's got just as many dubs. I'll go defend my guy.
That's what happens when you talk an hour and a half, 5 days a week. You're bound to have some misses, but yeah, more W's than L's when it comes to Johnny.
Wan'Dale Robinson going from the Giants to a lucrative free agent deal to the Tennessee Titans. 4 years, $70 million. Is that the blueprint for Michael Wilson deal? We'll see. But Wan'Dale getting the bag. That was from Ricky Scoops earlier this week. I don't know if you know about Ricky. He's kind of a bit of a pirate in the insider game.
All right. When it comes to Michael Wilson, I'd take that money as fast as I can because I don't know who's throwing me the ball this year, and I don't know that I want that going into free agency after the season I had last year.
Yeah, keeping it going, retired GOAT. Imagine if Willis balls out for Miami when your back's against the wall. It's better to swing for the fences than to take a strike.
Yeah, I mean, if you're backed into the corner, people have that fight or flight, and it seems like Monty's trying to flee even though he's stuck. You got to fight. You got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah. But here's $12 million. Tyler Allgeier. Playoff book. Cardinals don't rebuild. We just draft more victims to this humiliation ritual. Maybe one day our time will come, but that will not be the next year. You know, with the username playoff book, and it's tough now because there's been, even with like frustration with the Suns, they've been a team that's been relevant. They've been consistently in the postseason. There were 10 solid years of futility with that team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
ownership is what?
In ownership, exactly right. And it took a couple GMs as well, but you know, and McDonough was a little risk adverse for the most part. Like
it depends on what you consider a risk. Draft picks that he did, trading up in the draft. He took some swings, but really it took a giant scandal and forcing out an owner to change the way things are. And
I was looking for more hope than, hey, we need a scandal to force out.
I'm not saying that. That's just the reality of what it took with the Suns.
Yeah.
With the Cardinals, I don't know, 100+ years of history.
77, as Kyler pointed out, right?
Yeah.
Closer to 100, no doubt about it.
Just in franchise history, sure, you got the 47 title. Maybe it's time to give Pottsville their title back, and you can break the damn curse.
You should take the PJ to drop that thing back off. LeBron, I'd be down for Anthony Richardson or Derek Carr.
I feel like if you're gonna take a chance on a young retread, you gotta bring in a vet too. I know people say Jacoby. I want a full-fledged quarterback competition. If we're gonna get into a group of guys that are technically backups, let's get a group in and let the best man win.
Jordan Schultz, former Eagles wide receiver, and somehow kind of friend of the program, reference for this program, Johan Dotson. Johan Dotson, according to my co-host Johnny, he's signing a 2-year deal, $15 million with the Falcons. Coach Mike LaFleur's jumping in. NFL PA rank, Fins first, Cardinals 31st. It matters.
Yeah, but we're not dead last anymore, and we got the best Wi-Fi in the NFC West, baby. Hang the banner.
I think $45 million guaranteed was the differentiator between the Cardinals and the Dolphins there.
And
somehow.
And 3 years, which meant that second year was going to have a decent amount of money tied to it.
Justin Stud, all that money and no Willis. Who signs now?
Running backs.
Tyler Allgeier. That's right.
I mean, I don't want to fully crap on Tyler Allgeier. He's a nice back, but it's not what this team needed, especially after restructuring James Conner and running backs you're able to find. But, yeah, not exactly what you wanted.
Larry, Monti has to pray on Malik Willis's downfall in Miami. Can we get a single signing? At least, how is there nothing yet? We have to too many holes to fill in this offseason. And they fill RB3 with Tyler Allgeier. So that was before, obviously, the signing. Gustavo, what about one last ride for Joe Flacco? Dude would drop 40 passes, 400-yard game with our trio of running backs. We've got a trio of running backs now that we got to feed too. It's
why not Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, and we can host training camp in an old folks home here in town.
Well, yeah,
great.
Why don't we just bring in as many quarterbacks, like old, should be retired quarterbacks, and then we just kind of like have a game show type, like a Bachelor style, like quarterback.
It'd be Golden Bachelor with these guys. Phillip Rivers, we could bring in. Kurt, you got anything left in the arm? Carson, hey Jake, I mean maybe those mushrooms are doing magic for you. You want to come play again?
I mean, Flacco is just Jacoby. I mean, what we saw from Jacoby, I think that they're pretty much the same guy. Ranger fans need to tell Monti no on Jimmy G like they did with the coaching search. Don't stand for this, fans. We have the power.
I'd like to believe that we have the power, but I am afraid that at this point desperation will take over more than fan desire. Because if you were listening to fans, 45 for Malik Willis probably would not have been the line that you pulled up stakes on.
Right. Yeah, it's we don't really have a whole lot of power. We haven't traditionally as far as free agency goes. It's just you know, where ownership gets involved. As we've heard, there's reports fan base is impressionable as far as decision making. I don't know when it comes to the roster how much far that goes. Like really, like when you think about high demand free agents, ones that are talked about in the Cardinals zeitgeist that actually come to fruition, it's like Josh Sweat, and like that's the end of the conversation. Reese, Bo, we need you to sling the rock next season. My shoulder's toast. My shoulder's in worse shape than Derek Carr's, but look, if you need me, I'll do it.
What's Uncle Rico doing right now? He can sling that rock.
I think he's doing White Lotus. How about Mac Daddy? We're gonna win this with the same team as last year, FML.
Hey, you know, it's always great to run it back with the team that got your coach fired and had the most losses in franchise history.
And does that even get you where like you get the pick of the quarterback litter next year? It all comes down to like strengths of schedule. That's what you lost out to the Raiders. So like you could go 3-14 again, and you could still be picking third and getting the second or third best quarterback on the board next year. So it's just like all you tankers out there, that's your reality you have to live in. Johnny Venerable ran into traffic. Stop giving Michael Bidwell your money. Stop.
Oh,
I haven't heard from Johnny.
I haven't either. I don't know if he's crashing out or how bad right now.
But. You will hear from Johnny today. I promise you that. How about Red Feather Workshop, Dana Ballknower? Why fire JG if the plan is to do nothing? Barring a trade for a quarterback, I don't get the plan or lack thereof. Born 4.6840, unless that's Michael Wilson leverage. Why?
I again, it's going to unfold, but I don't know that I'm going to like what I'm going to see after this all unfolds.
Right.
You know?
Keeping it going. How about we got Injecto? Why not get Love in the first and Dunker in 2 or 3? Jennings Dunker is a national treasure with his red mullet.
I'm just, acquire all the running backs. That's where I'm at now.
Keeping it going. Injecto, by the way. Injecto more moves, please. Brian P. Monty Austin-Fort, too cheap, or number one wants to play for AZ. I don't know. What's worse?
No one wants to play.
Oh, no one. Sorry. We won't be competitive till 28. Rookie in 27. Year to develop. Bidwill is a failure.
Oh, maybe that's the plan. 28's when the facility opens, right? So there we go. Everything's coming up 28.
I'll find a hobby for Sundays in the fall and winter then, I guess. Copper State Collector. Unbelievable stuff from Copper State Collector, who I believe, can I say this is going to be at the draft?
Yeah. Yes, he will
Going to be at our draft party. Gives out these incredible figurines that you want to get your hands on. Copper State Collector. Scandal, I hear Bidwell, is in some files that are very high profile.
To be fair, he spelled it wrong. So, I mean, maybe these are different files. So.
People at me saying they think we dodged a bullet with Malik Willis. Here's what I don't disagree with that. I'm not coping. I'm not. I wanted to see Malik Willis be the option at quarterback. I see the financials on it, and it is a little bit past where I would have been comfortable the Cardinals spending guaranteed money.
Look, when our friends at the Arizona Lottery used to have a tagline, you can't win if you don't play.
Sure.
You can't win at the quarterback position if you don't take a chance. And right now, they didn't take the chance there, and you're staring at a lot of veterans that are either past their expiration date or have proven that they're not starting quarterback.
Okay, so Red Feather Workshop, Dana Ballknower, and big thank you to Kyle Haley, new Cardinals insider, Matt Zenitz, saying Cardinals and Dolphins and Niners were among teams in the mix for wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. I guess he's in the mix there. I don't know if anything ever came of that. Did he end up signing with the Cardinals? Look, Greg Dortch looks like all signs are him exiting the organization. So Kendrick Bourne joining this wide receiver core, I'd be up for it. He's not going to be somebody that's going to force targets from whoever the hell is throwing the quarterback. But thank you for pointing that out, Kyle. Kendrick Bourne, Tyler Allgeier. There you go. That's your consolation prize.
Rather have Jason Bourne right now. At least he'd be able to figure out a way out of this hell.
Iron Will. Johnny Venerable might need a breathalyzer to speak tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when Johnny gets here for the 4:30 show for sure.
How about our guy Larry? We might hear from Johnny before that.
Larry?
We'll see. But Larry's jumping in. Thank you for another super chat. Sign all the old folks. Cousins, Rogers, Flacco, Hill. Man.
Woohoo! Old folks home. Let's do it.
Rome. Connor and Tyler are going to be better duo than people think, especially with the new offensive scheme. I've always been a Tyler fan. He runs hard.
Look, they very well may be a good running back duo.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to matter if you don't have a quarterback that can hold his own weight. You can scheme a lot, but if you have no quarterback, it's not going to matter.
Does it inspire hope that your offense is going to be what it needs to be competitive? I know you've got the playmakers in the passing game. There's a 31-year-old James Conner, and then Tyler Allgeier, who's 4 seasons removed from his last 1,000-yard rushing season. Does that inspire hope that that's going to get you back on offensively where you need to be? Like they're good, serviceable running backs, but like there is a ceiling to that. And I mean, I think they'll be good in short yardage. That's good. James Conner and Trey Benson need to add the explosives to the run game, back to the run game, and it's fine. But like there are glaring holes on this team in much more important spots. But Allgeier, Bourne, we'll see what's next for the Cardinals. You got to imagine the offensive line are the next moves for this team. 77 far north. Got up at 5 a.m. New Zealand time for this. I think my coffee might be swapped out with whiskey at this rate.
Probably a good idea, but
Yeah.
maybe wait until about 6:30 a.m. to do that. So.
Yeah. Appreciate it having our friends in New Zealand tuning in. How about Rangers back? Total tally 215. So, Bo, we're the only person at the stadium. I'll be the only person at the stadium on Sundays. Me and the rest of the press corps will be the only ones, but it will just be opposing fans down in the seats.
Yep, we're moving towards that portion of the program here.
Make sure to hit that like button. Of course, we'll be jumping on Southwest Bias here after this. Iron Will, if they trade Jacoby Brissett for that late pick after this news, I'll lose my mind. Slovis merch incoming. Pro Bowl quarterback. From Desert Mountain to starting for the Arizona Cardinals.
So, you could have Slovis and what other guys from the can Max Hall come in and compete?
John Skelton.
John Skelton. He ran a failed campaign in Tempe. He's probably got time on his hands. Why not?
Brian's back. I'm just happy we're all not upset. A billionaire is saving money because Malik was too expensive. We're gonna have like $250 million in free cap space when we roll over 50 in the 2026 empty stadium in 2026.
Yeah, I couldn't care less what Michael Bidwell has to spend to put on a good product on the field. That's of zero concern to me with that. So
the only thing you can wrap your head around is the years and the guarantees. And, Malik Willis isn't a hit, and what that looks like and what you're tied to him in 2027. That's the only concern. So, like, when you see 3 years, $45 million guarantee, that's the only thing you're like, it's not the money that's being spent or, like, the purse strings being tightened as far as from ownership. Because I don't think that's the issue. I think it's from, like, roster construction and allocated cap dollars.
Yeah, to me, though, you look at it, and if you sign Malik to that and you wind up him failing, right, you're going to wind up going into the 2027 draft as your plan anyway. So you're going to be paying a rookie scale quarterback. So what difference does that money make at that point? Because you're not going back into free agency to try to find your quarterback. You draft it then, so that money would mean very little at that position in particular.
Jets getting one of the best defensive linemen on the market, David Onyemata, 1 year, $10.5 million deal. I'm sure the Cardinals will go on lower kind of salary, just kind of trying to hit on some vets on the defensive line to replace some guys who are exiting this organization. Gus, I've been saying, sign Aaron Rodgers, draft Ty Simpson.
Yeah, that's a choice. I mean, at this point, you may be playing in that kind of world where it is, a veteran quarterback like that, draft a Ty Simpson, see if he has anything, and then if not, you're going back to play the quarterback roulette game in the draft next year.
Yeah. How about T.R. Hall? Somebody didn't like that one. Jake Browning. No thanks.
I'm good.
Didn't the Bengals go get Joe Flacco because Jacob Browning wasn't very good last year?
Yep.
Trinity. Monti about to have to under 20 wins in 4 years. He's not surviving next year and honestly doesn't deserve to pick a quarterback at 27.
It is impressive how bad he is looking as a GM when it comes to the pantheon of really bad GMs that they've had in Arizona. It has not been a position that has been great in the town, and he's setting new standards.
Was the undertaking larger than most rebuilds? I'll give him at least that. But we've seen teams that were bottom of the league be able to revamp things and rebuild a lot quicker than this. This is going on 4 years with not a whole lot of development. I mean, that building down on Central and Camelback, it's been under construction or renovation for almost a decade.
Yeah.
That's the Cardinals right now.
Well, and Monty's the one that decided to tear it down to the studs in year one to start this entire thing. So the fact that we're still at the studs right now and there's not very many studs on the roster, that's problematic.
Lack of studs.
DLAZ says, how much more would Malik have cost us? I think you probably could have got him for a very similar deal that Miami got him on. I mean, so I do not understand. I keep going back to this, that something will come out where it makes more sense. And I really hope it's that Matt LaFleur just was not sure that he could be a starter and that influenced Mike.
Yeah, I think that played a large role. Daewoo, very nice, affordable car from back in the day. Obvious, we're going Bailey Maui Noah at 3 and trading up into the end of round 1 for Ty Simpson. Anything else is a fail for Monty. Take him out back.
Hey, we don't need to Christy Gnome anybody, all right? Jeez.
He's yeah, that's a pretty delayed gratification too if you're waiting for the draft to get a lot of heavy lifting done. And you're putting, I mean, you can't look at it and say, hey, we're putting all our eggs in the Ty Simpson basket. AZ Moses, Matt Schaub going to be QB1, QB coach at this rate.
Hey, there's nobody better to teach than teaching yourself. So,
yeah. Copper State Collector's back. Are we 100% out on Jacoby? Keep him and draft a rookie.
Well, look, you know what you're going to have with Jacoby. It's not like all of a sudden, a decade into his career, it's going to be like, oh, it all clicked, and now he's a great starting quarterback. Right. Really good backup quarterback that can put up numbers in garbage time. Prepare to lose is what it says.
I think like you can think of best case scenario for Jacoby. You saw a lot of it last year. He was asked to obviously throw the football a lot more than any quarterback is asked in the league. But like, can you put him like behind a strong offensive line with a run game? Both of those things he didn't have. I still think that there's a ceiling there, and you just want the fan base to believe that there's more to it at the quarterback position than that. Iron Will, with Willis out, we are looking at running back, guard in free agency, Maui Noah in the draft, or guard tackle in free agency, Love in the draft, or running back, guard, tackle in free agency, Bailey in the draft. I think probably the latter. I think you're looking at running back already checked off the box in free agency, with DeMarcado leaving. Got almost a complete room there outside of adding depth. You know, the Michael Carter role here. Guard, tackle. Those are the positions that with all this money you would just assume that's where the Arizona Cardinals are going to put and spend a lot of their salary cap. One of the big numbers off the board, one of the big targets, David Edwards, is going to the New Orleans Saints. Saints going for it down in the Big Easy. It was a one-year rebuild. They've got Travis Etienne and now David Bailey, one of the top guards on the market, going to New Orleans to join Tyler Shuck there and Chris Olave.
It must be nice to have an organization willing to take big swings.
Yeah. Yep. Credit to Mickey Loomis. Just guy, he said, I didn't hear a bell when they were counting the Saints out with their cap hell and not a whole lot of assets. But here's where the Cardinals are not taking swings like that. We'll see. A couple more guards out there. I think that they could eye, like an Elijah Very Tucker. Obviously, there's a connection there with Mike LaFleur. All the tackles remain on the market, like a Walker, a Braden Smith. So we'll see if they put some of those cap dollars towards it. But the Cardinals right now, outside of a Tyler Allgeier signing, that's all you got. Do we have more super chats?
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah.
All these starred ones? Okay. How about that? Sam went digital.
We're going to wind up doing Southwest Bias about 3, leading right into the 4:30 show. It's going to be great.
We'll be live all day long if I had it my way. Sam went digital, 5 months membership. I love that loyalty. That's unbelievable. Been a PHNX Sports supporter. If you haven't done so, join Sam and the many supporters out there. You get the access to the members-only videos. We got a bunch of those up on the feed, PHNX_sports on YouTube. Also, you get the access to the emojis out there. It's true sicko stuff. It's for the real ones. Sam saying, how did Miami even afford it?
I still don't fully understand that with how little cap space they had, but the NFL proves that you can make anything happen if you want. Yeah.
It's a myth. It's going to have to come via the most of the cap space that they opened, plus a lot of the guarantees that they maybe kick down the road. Maybe they got some void years in there too. Keeping it going, Fultzy, 4 months in the fold here as a supporter. Trade for Richardson. I'd rather have an absolute flyer than Geno or Jimmy G. I get that. That's more fun. That's obviously the biggest of swings that you would take, right?
It's the lottery ticket thing again.
Mhm.
You bank on you can tap into the potential, but we all know the person in our lives that goes, you know what, I'm going to date this person because
Yeah.
I can fix them,
Right.
and it rarely works.
Right. Not everybody's going to be Sam Darnold out there. For every Sam Darnold, there's like a Jimmy Clausen, a Josh Rosen. There's guys that, people saw the potential, the Trey Lances of the world. Aaron Wilson celebrating 5 months. 5 months. I think we've only had like the supporter club for 6. So that's cool. You've been from basically the jump. Guys, I need a JV crash out right now. Please. You will get that.
We'll get it soon. And it'll be built up anger, which should make it even more interesting.
Right now he's probably yelling at in traffic or wherever our sweet boy might be. Oh, for sure. This is a long. I haven't seen Oh for sure for a while, but celebrating 4 months of being a supporter. I'm okay with Monty not giving Malik all that of our cap. That's smart. Hopefully we get some pieces to protect whatever quarterback comes in the future.
We'll see. I mean, could it be smart? Sure, depending on what you use that on. But the first move you make is using it on a running back.
Right.
So
and oh for sure, like if the quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, how do you feel about that? AZ Moses, 6 months. As I said, 6 months. That's the longest you could be a supporter. You've been, day one. How about for all the people saying tank season? You do realize top 10 quarterbacks are never a sure thing. They bust all the time. All the time. Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, etc. How about Josh Rosen? It's a great point.
I mean, yeah, and people will sell themselves on these guys, will fall in love with tape, and then in the end, it doesn't pan out, and that's just scary. Hey, our friend Deborah celebrating 5 months says, save more money, fire Monty, let MLF pick his players. Why not? I mean, if he was the one weighing in heavily on the quarterback position, let's just get a year with Mike running everything. Why not?
Well, if Jordan Schultz is reporting that Mike LaFleur was heavy in on Tyler Allgeier, I've already lost a little faith as far as his taste in players. But look, it's not right now the current process isn't working great, so maybe any other option could do better. How about Doc Miles, 3 months supporter of PHNX Sports? At least Monty cleared the cap for the next GM. That's right. Not saddling him up with bad contracts.
Well, yet.
Right.
There's still time on the clock.
Not yet. One of the better guards is off the board. That's at least what I was holding out hope for. But Edwards goes to the Saints on a pretty lucrative deal. We'll see what the Cardinals, what Monty can get done. Our guy Shaft jumping in, $10. I'm sick to my stomach about losing out to Miami. There are 3 teams who could take Simpson: Rams, the Jets, the Steelers. Can we get before any of those teams? How did we lose out to a team with no money? The latter, I don't know. I mean, when we see the financials on this and when the money's due for a guy like Malik, it's going to be tough getting ahead of those teams in the draft. I don't know if that's the Steelers' plan. If they're bringing back Rodgers on a 1-year deal, like, will they want to try to? Are they going to be in win now mode, or are they going to look kind of half it? Right? Are they going to look with an eye to the future, but also compete now with McCarthy? That's going to be a tough needle to thread there. Rams. The Rams they would have to take him pretty early. I think, what is it, 13th? Isn't that where the Rams are with the Falcons pick? They gave up 29 for McDuffie.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that they want to invest too much in the quarterback of the future when they're very much in win now mode.
Yeah, it's I don't know if Simpson is a realistic option. I know he said he met with the Cardinals. He said all the right things. It's like, great organization. Loved my time with Mr. Monty. Called Monty Ossenfort Mr. Monty. Very complimentary of Hackett and LaFleur. But that's a guy that wants the job. He sees the opportunity. But
it'll likely cost you assets to move up. And how much are you willing to give up?
Not giving any 27 assets to get up. Will, 3 months of membership. Sell the team.
Good luck with that. If he hasn't done it already, I highly doubt he's ever going to do it. And that is going to be the cross we have to bear and continue to as fans of this team.
Everybody crushed it with their obviously their monthly anniversary free super chat. That was great. I think we got all of them right.
We did.
Nice job, Noah. Noah's on his A game. Gave him some time off and look at him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Rebounded from his poor performance.
The only time he has off between now and December, so
right.
I better have enjoyed it.
This guy did a great job filling in. Espo, you got Southwest Bias coming up. When's that?
Yeah, like whenever we get off here, we're probably going to re-rack it and just start it. And I think I might pull this guy back in, too. Why not? Let's keep talking Cardinals live as free agent frenzy continues.
Mike Evans to the 49ers.
Great, the division got a little better.
The division got a little bit better. We continue the conversation with Espo on Southwest Bias. It's always going on in the exclusive member diehard Discord. Get in there, go phnx.com/diehard. And look, we're having a blast, regardless of the news is good or bad. We're talking about this team all day and their moves. Keep it locked here to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys soon on either the next emergency podcast, for sure Southwest Bias, and PHNX Cardinals at 4:30. Brian in at the buzzer. At least Bidwell has no kids. If he passes when his dad does, only 27 more years. My Lord.
There's still time for him to have a kid, too, in that time. Just remember that.
That got dark real quick, but we'll continue to go here on PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals. Stick around with us. Follow us on our socials. We'll talk to you soon.
We all silly like the mayor.